Let's see how we're going to graph a function. So I'm using a linear graph here. So this is an equation of a line. And I on purpose picked an equation with negative signs because there's some confusion as to where do we use the negative sign versus the minus. So even before I enter that, what you need to know is that when there's a sign in front, just like you would say it, you would say it's negative 5 over 3x. So when it's a negative, then you use this number right here, this button right here. And then you would say minus 14. So then you would use this key here. Okay. So the negative one is only when you have it in the leading part of it. When it's in between two terms, it's a minus. So then you have to use this button right here. Another thing that we need to make sure that we are careful is when we're dealing with fractions. So in a graphing calculator, we need to make sure that it's entered in a bracket. Okay, so this is how we're going to go under again. So we're going to start with y equal to, so this is where you enter, and I'm going to go negative, starting a bracket here, 5 divided by 3 to put the fraction in. X is right over here. So that next to the alpha button, so it says x, t, theta, n. So we're using x. And then minus 14. Okay. Now you want to make sure that all your plots are off. Okay. So nothing is highlighted. If anything is highlighted, please go back. Easy thing you can do is just go clear your memory. If you don't know how to do that, I did make a video for that, so please do watch that. So everything is good. No plots are highlighted, so none of them are darkened over here. So they're not highlighted like this is highlighted. So we don't want any of those. Okay. Now, when we start, remember when we see the graph, you should be able to see both the x and y intercept. And we're going to start off by first going under and doing zoom 6. The reason I go into zoom 6 and don't hit the graph right away is because I don't know what my previous windows could have been. So if I was graphing previously, maybe I haven't adjusted those windows to work for that graph. So it's almost like starting off with a blank state. So I'm going to go zoom 6, which is standard windows. Standard windows means they only go from negative 10 to 10 for both axes. So zoom and then 6. Sometimes you'll see part of your graph, none of your graph, or you have some part of a starting point. Now, I could take this and go straight into my windows because I know where to adjust my windows here. I need to go in my Y minimum a little bit lower, and I should be okay. Okay, so that's great. I can right away go to my windows if I want right now. Let's say you don't see any part of your graph, then you don't even know where exactly is your graph going. So then if you run into that case, you can go under zoom 0. So you can scroll down, or you could have simply just pressed zoom and then 0. What this will do is it will give the calculator the time to adjust the window for you. Okay. So it did a pretty good job. It's actually pretty decent. I can see my X and my Y intercept. So I can work with this. But I am going to show you how to adjust the windows in case you have to do that yourself. So I'm going to say though, no, I would like to see a little bit more of the positive Y. So what I will do is I will go under Windows. You can see that the X minimum is till negative 10 and it's positive till positive 10, right? Maximum. So if I wasn't happy with this, if I wanted to go this way, I would have changed my X minimum even lower. So I could have made it negative 15, negative 20, or if I wanted to go into the maximum side, more positive side, so I would have changed the maximum. But I'm okay with those, so I'm not going to change these two. Scale, I would always just leave as 1. Y minimum is all the way to -30. That's actually pretty good. And I'm saying that I want to see a little bit more of the Y maximum. That means going up. So I'm going to just go back and change this to a +10. So you'll see what happens with that is I can see a little bit more of my Y positive. So any side you want to increase, decrease, you go under here. So Y min, Y max, X min, X max, Y min, Y max. Okay. So I think our graph looks pretty good. I can see my X-intercept right here, my Y-intercept right here. And sometimes you have to actually write out what your scale you used, or the question will give you the scale, so we should know what it means when it's written. Usually if they give you the windows and what scale they used, or window adjustments they used, they will write it like this. They will go X with the square brackets. The first number is always a minimum, then maximum, and then the scale. So this is a way to communicate what window settings we used, or they can tell you what window settings to use. Okay.